Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the size, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto, ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing, guys, because Bitcoin is in Vegas, but there is signs of a usual dump, right? So I actually went back and I started looking into the recent years and the recent dumps, and it is very correlated to what is going on today. We were hoping that this time was different. Doesn't seem that way. But on a good note, we do have USDC Starknet now on Bitcoin. Not just that, we do have runes now on Starknet. There is liquidity for Dog, Pups, and Billy now on Starknet. We're going to get into that and so much more, guys. Without further ado, bring our partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling about today? I know we're sitting here like, damn, 107. What is going on?
I think it's early. It's early, guys. Let's give it a little time, right? We got our guys in Vegas having a good time. Shout out to Big Chief. Shout out to Nighthawk. Shout out to Danny. We saw them. Have fun. Be safe out there. Represent. But also, look, there people are having a good time out there. We did say it's different. And here's the thing that I will say that give us a little bit of hope. Yes, it hasn't started off great for day 2, but if we're gonna say that the summer's different, then why not? The Bitcoin conference playing out differently. So it's only day 2. Let's let day 3 come in, and if it gets worse, then I think we'll have a little bit more inside of possibly it repeating the typical Bitcoin conference week.
Yeah, man. We'll just jump into that, but real quick though, just to hit on your point with our guys, man. Shout out to Danny Boy, shout out to our boy Alfredo, and then Chief Axel. You guys are killing it out there in Vegas. Looking great, guys. Looking great. So I just want to shout out our people there. But let's kind of dig right in. All right. So Bitcoin's price behavior during major Bitcoin conferences has historically shown a pattern of short-term declines, often attributed to a sell the news phenomenon. In 2001, Miami, Bitcoin experienced a modest 5% drop leading up to the conference, declining around 33,000. However, it rebounded to 39,000 in the following week, driven by post-event enthusiasm. 2022, Miami, the conference coincided with a bearish market, resulting in a nearly 10% drop in BTC's price, decreasing from 30,000 to 27,000. And then last year, 2024 Nashville, a significant correction occurred with Bitcoin's price falling from 69,000 to 49,000 between July 29th and August 5th, the conference, making a 30% decline. How do you feel about these last 3 years?
Well, not good. I don't feel great about that, right? Especially becoming, getting that information as a digital marketer, and we use analytical historical trends, right? Analytics and stuff like that. But I will say this year has not matched up with historical trends very much, right? There hasn't been a ton of stuff that is aligned. The only thing that has matched up is, and has been matching up as with a T, by a T, I should say, is the M2 money supply. And that money supply still shows up though. So if, let's say that we do have a bad Bitcoin conference week and we start this decline, that means M2 money supply is broken.
Yeah. Or
especially a 30% decline. Definitely, I would say that it would completely throw it off. So
we would have to stop. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly, right. And so that would be weird. But like having a little bit of a break in between hitting that 111 to possibly curling back down to 106, I think it's okay, right? Like that's okay of a pullback. And then it kind of reminds me maybe of this like kind of in between period of the first time we kicked off. I think it was the end of Q3, maybe beginning of Q4 last year, had a little bit of a 1 week break in between. And so we blew up in November, had a little bit of break at the end of that very couple first days of December, and then blew up again. So maybe that's what we're doing. And then we're going to do that in June. We'll see though.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're going to follow what 2021 did, right? Because you got the years, 2025, 2021, they're the year after the halving. Bitcoin, experienced 5% drop. I think we could do that during this period, but then it rebound to potentially, double that, like 10%. In the following week, driven by post-event enthusiasm. We could see something like that, right? A little dip this week, going into the first week. You got to remember too, Friday is the last, basically the last day. Okay, Saturday's the last day of May, right? We enter June next week.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of gives us like a couple days before possibly this explosion up. But yeah, that's it. Look, we'll see how this plays out. The hardest thing to do is really get like a short-term forecast on Bitcoin in this year, right? It's very hard, even if you're really bullish. And yes, the M2 supply has been the best tool I think that we've had this year. Yeah. So I'm sticking with that until it breaks, right? It hasn't broken down in my opinion. I think a pullback could be a part of that, depending on where we are, and also if we missed the pullback before, just a slight one, right? We could be going through something like that. So I would say stay positive. Just keep your focus locked in. That's the most important thing. Don't lose focus because of a pullback like this, because I think right now is the most important time to stay focused, because we're about to jump into a whole new season of things.
Yeah, man, 100%. Agree with that, because this next thing, let's jump right into it. Starknet introduces a brand new offering for Bitcoiners, asset runes. Bitcoin native assets giving you one-to-one exposure to real tokens. I don't like how they said real tokens, but starting with USDC and soon expanding to more tokens, NFTs, RWAs, all through Starknet's ZK technology. This is kind of with their post here, and they also say, asset runes make it possible for Bitcoiners to access stablecoins without leaving the chain. Pretty amazing. I mean, this got broken out. I went and did research. It's called USDC. Then that rune circle thing, it's always there, and then Starknet. So if you are looking for it, make sure it is that exact one. USDC. What would you call that thing in the middle there?
I forgot what they're actually called. Isn't it like a black dot?
Yeah, it's a black dot between USDC and Starknet. I never know what it's called.
Yeah, anyways. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. But talking about this is big in my opinion, because Starknet is pretty, talked about a lot, right? And for them to bring their zero knowledge technology to Bitcoin fungibles is big. And I think this will have a flow of liquidity flowing in. And I think there was some builders in the background that just weren't really wanting things to get out and stuff. And now we're starting to see this is a pretty big rollout, in my opinion.
This is massive, and doing it during the Bitcoin conference as well, like that's huge. And like on top of that, you know, you do Starknet. I think Starknet needs this more than this needs Starknet, in my opinion, right? Just for the fact that like I don't know anyone who uses Starknet, you know, like personally. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it being utilized. But the ZK proofs and stuff, that's their big thing over there, right? That's their main selling point of getting people to use their stuff. And you know, but this is big. This is big regardless.
Yeah, I agree. And what other? I feel like the UTXO ecosystem, especially something like Bitcoin, this benefits like a lot because this is
Yeah.
all about like trust minimization, right? And that's what they're bringing to the table here. We'll see how much adoption it gets.
Yep, for sure. And then the next thing, Starknet also announced that they built a runes bridge, so you can now trade runes on Starknet. So they do have an image here as well. All right, so this is it right here. This is their DEX on Starkgate is the site, and then you can trade. Looks like Billy, Doggo to the Moon, Magic Internet Money, Pups, Uncommon Goods. So the normal, the top 5, right, have been bridged over already and added liquidity. So you do have liquidity now for the first time ever for runes on Starkgate, and this is pretty big too because this opens up bridging for all EVM now.
True.
Right,
Very true.
because now
Yeah.
you can go through layer 0, you can go through all these bridges now. These
built
can be
it.
anywhere now. Yeah, it's there.
Exactly. And
So,
the cool thing about this is this one was kind of unexpected, right? It was like something
Yeah.
that okay, they're building, everybody's building for runes, right? But then like when it rolled out, we were just like, holy crap. Okay, so we know that there's other stables within our ecosystem, but you know, this is a pretty big one, USDC, like, you know, having that kind of back to back
Yeah.
as a wrapped. That's big, dude. That I feel like DeFi has officially started here in the broader Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, this is only, you know, a very, very small move in my opinion. I think we're going to see a lot of different USDCs. We're going to see a lot of different, but it's better, right? Like you're going to see USDC Starknet, probably USDC, who knows, right? Going down the line USDT, and then hey, taking them to liquidity pools, locking them up, and you get yield on your stables, right? So I mean, it's going to be DeFi on Bitcoin. You're going to see a lot of TVL now, especially with the next thing we're going to get into from DotSwap. But we'll get into that in a second. I do have one more thing I want to bring up. So with any good news, there's always FUD, right? So and then the biggest fudder in the space is your boy, businessman.eth. I'm just kidding. But he says, yay, he basically said, yay, USDC on he's not even following him. He said 1 Bitcoin for 70K. Yay, Starknet. So he's like basically saying there's no liquidity.
Yeah, I'll probably start off with, right? Like, I don't know.
Day one. It's day one, bro.
Maybe not even day one. He's like probably like 10 seconds in, he's checking. He's like, oh, but honestly, hey, one thing I'll give him credit. He knows how to get people riled up, right? So I'm sure the Starknet people were probably like, who's this guy? I hate him now. He's on my list. And then everybody's like, yeah, he's on everybody's list. But yeah.
It's good though. Oh, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's good that we're all just not jumping for joy. There's always someone out there that's gonna pop your balloon if you get close enough, right?
Well,
So,
it also makes you like take a second glance, third glance. I do think that situations like that can hurt people too, though. Like it can
Yeah.
make them rush to sell, or it can make them do something that maybe they shouldn't have. But it's like that falls on the individual at the end of the day. Like you're an
100%.
adult, so you know, do further research. Don't act impulsively off of one post.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a stable coin, right? So obviously
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with holding that. That's the biggest thing with stable coins. You got to be comfortable with holding them, right? Like they're not risk free. And that's one thing people have to understand. Holding BAMP or BAMP stablecoin doesn't mean that it's going to be stable, right?
That was a perfect one to pick. Honestly.
You know what I mean? But same thing. Like I love what Scott's doing with Bound, but
yeah,
I mean, you just don't know, right? There's
well,
always
that for sure. But there's ways for you to
So-
check and really get better at like. And I'm not saying I'm great at being an on-chain sleuth, but like
Yeah.
you know, like there's people that are really good at online investigation. Now we're moving to Web3. You got to be good at on-chain investigation, and I think that there's
Yeah.
people that are really good at it, but like it takes that tedious type of work. You got to just yeah.
You can do that though, and then you never know. Maybe they're not using a multi-sig, and someone
Yep.
gets hacked, or somebody gets held at for their lives or
Gunpoint?
something, you know, like I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get like flagged.
Oh,
Oops.
Water,
But
water.
it's like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like you just don't know. With something like USDC, pretty comfortable holding that.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that one, yeah, I guess it would depend on, you know, the multi-sig wallet or whatever they use for their ZK.
But that's the thing that you'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You'll never know if somebody writes down their seed phrase and their grandma accidentally throws it away and someone finds it, right? It's always there. Not saying they won't be successful. I think some of them will be.
I mean,
But
if
it'll always be there.
if they are part of the multi-sig group and they write it down in their grandma's house and they go get some McDonald's or something in their grandma, they should not have ever been considered.
There's shit that's happened that was been worse, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
they're true, very true.
I'm just saying it's you still have to have a little bit of worry.
Yeah.
It'll but with USDC,
humans are
don't
involved,
feel
is
like
what you're
that's
saying.
100%, yeah. And USDC, I think they're too big to fail at this point, right? Like,
Well, USDC side, I'm not worried about, right? But
Okay,
it's
yeah.
more of like the backing of one-to-one bridging it over and where
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
being
yeah.
held. That would be what I would be worried about.
100%,
Possibly.
100%. All right, let's move into the other set of big news here. I got a lot here, so I'm going to run through this because I went and actually did a lot of research on how this works, and I'm still struggling. But maybe you can after I read this. Okay, so
whoa. Don't put everything on me. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, I'm struggling. All right, I'm struggling. DotSwap. Meet DotSwap Nexus, the first truly decentralized liquidity layer for Bitcoin native assets. For the first time, decentralized market making comes to Bitcoin. This is the first real attempt to bring AMM style DeFi to Bitcoin, something that previously thought impossible due to Bitcoin's limitation. DotSwap Nexus brings AMMs to Bitcoin using PSBTs, or partially signed Bitcoin transactions, and liquidity pools. Users swap Bitcoin native tokens like Runes or BRC20s trustlessly with self custody and no smart contracts needed. Instead of smart contract, it uses PSBT logic and Taproot scripts to execute trades. Liquidity stays secure via multi-sig MPC system, making this first real DeFi layer on Bitcoin. It's a Uniswap style DEX built on Bitcoin, letting users provide liquidity, earn fees, and trade trustlessly, fully native to Bitcoin, no order books, no custodians, 100% on chain. So that was the only information that I was able to find. ChatGPT didn't have the DotSwap docs, but it does sound like they're using something called MMM, multi something matrix. It's like I don't even know, but I don't know. How do you think they're doing this?
Okay, so this is the reason why I have kind of gone down the whole Casey post of kind of using AI as like agents to do things in the back end. So for DotSwap Nexus post, Leonidas, the dog father, the true dog father, says, is this using the Runes AMM agents idea that Runemine talked about for a few months? And then DotSwap said, great degens think alike, and it's heavily inspired by Runemine's light pools. So I think they're using, you know, some possibly I don't know if the AI side is necessarily like as involved. Maybe they're using some sort of like off-chain smart contract stuff. I don't know about that part, but if they are using AI, that's really cool. But I think it would have to be so back tested, right, just to make sure, because AI agents, you know, they're not perfect yet. But there is a map here, so let's try to attempt this, guys. So don't expect any big brain breakdowns, but we'll just try to look at it here and see if you know, maybe we can all piece it together. Let's work together. It says decentralized market making. So the user swaps right here, and it looks like DotSwap is a liquidity aggregator. Ooh, so they are aggregating liquidity here. It says self-custodial liquidity pool. So it looks like they're working directly with market makers. Okay, so aggregator, and I think as in like working with market makers specifically, not necessarily like entities or dexes like Sats Terminal does. But I think it's more of like, you know, big market makers that agree to go into this because, you know, obviously there's a benefit on the other side for them. And then the user swaps, and it says that, you know, the transactions co-signed with the partially signed broadcasted transaction here, or Bitcoin transaction right here. And then, let me bring that down. It says broadcast transaction, and it looks like that's it. right? It looks like so they're working with them to use their swaps with that, and then yeah. So this honestly didn't get us from I got us from step 0 to no steps.
Yeah. Well, with that, so we got the guys over at DotSwap. They're going to be hopping on with us probably next week. Kind of maybe break this down for us. So stick with us, guys. We'll make sure we get a really good understanding of this.
I tried with what they gave me.
It's day right. There's no the docs ain't out yet. Once the docs get out, that's when I have an opportunity to understand it. Because I got my friend ChatGPT, and he'll walk me through step by step of exactly what is happening in the back end. So, but yeah, man, excited. Definitely excited. Definitely. Let's wrap this with a bow here. I have never been this excited for the Runes ecosystem ever in my life after Starknet and DotSwap right now.
Yeah.
So
me too. I mean, two big rollouts, and that's what makes me bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem in general right now.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like there's a lot of news events coming out, and how can you not be bullish on this ecosystem? You know, Kraken, you know, Runes infrastructure. We're gonna have a guest on today. I'm not gonna spoil it yet for you guys, but you know, they have something rolling out. So I just like people that are paying attention know that this is a bullish ecosystem.
It pays to pay attention for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right. So huge news. This is going off to our off-chain news here. In March 2025, GameStop announced a $1.3 billion convertible notes offering to fund its Bitcoin investment strategy. Bitcoin purchase today, May 28th. GameStop confirmed the purchase of 4,710 Bitcoin. Total value of the acquisition is valued at approximately $513 million, based on Bitcoin's trading price of $108,900. That is their average price for each Bitcoin. So, which says two things here. They made their first purchase, but they still have another 1.27 left. Or I'm sorry, so 1.3 minus
it'd be 800. 800
million. So about $800 million left, which means their next buy could be bigger than this one. But GameStop is in, bro. It's official. They've knocked down the door. They are a Bitcoin holding company.
Yeah, I'd say welcome to the party. You know, they've been talking about it. We didn't know if they were going to pull the trigger. It looks like they did pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Did they pull the trigger too late? I don't think so.
Late.
I don't think so. Well, I'm just saying, you know, like they have you know, we can get into it a little bit later if it's on the thing, but you know, the question of MicroStrategy having proof of reserves, I think scared a couple of people, but he don't care because he feels like whatever he's been doing is working, right? But obviously I don't think that they would have pulled the trigger if they felt like that was a big risk there. You know, still even with this, you know, MicroStrategy and all this stuff, possibly like a cat or a black swan down the road, people are still projecting 500K. They're like, with this 500K, then the pullback. So I think this is a smart play. When is too late though for entities to start buying huge amounts? 300,000.
I'll say 700,000 would probably be
so the top, basically.
Yeah, don't buy the top. So that's kind of, you know what I mean, like
create the top.
But you know, I think if you do a DCA strat, like, all right, this is really smart by them. They didn't you know, blow their whole bag in one shot, right? They can buy now, and in 3 months down the line, kind of see where Bitcoin is. They're probably got to buy higher, honestly. But then that's the second buy, and then third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, Michael Saylor, you know, he bought at 8,000, yeah, but he also bought at 60. Right. And then he had to sit through that insane bear market. So I don't think it matters. If you have a 10-year horizon on Bitcoin, it doesn't matter where you buy. If you buy at 700K or you buy 100, it's not going to matter because it's going to be in the millions of dollars.
Yeah. And that strategy, Black Swan thing that I was just talking about, the difference between that is Black Swans typically come out of nowhere, right? People aren't really talking about it before it happens. It kind of just like slaps you in the face or whatever. Do Kwon did have some back and forth about his stable coin, but it wasn't like what people talk about. So I think there's like so much time for Saylor and whoever is like, hey, look, guys, like we got to figure out this thing. I think they can mitigate some of this craziness in the end. We'll see though.
Yeah. I didn't have it on docket, but let's kind of get into that anyway, because it is right in this realm here. So that's Saylor was asked on stage yesterday about, you know, proof of reserves, and he basically said no. Like, what was your opinion on all that?
Well, he kind of danced around it. He's like, well, that's funny that you say that because like, and then he said, you know, he basically what you said, no. But the thing is that they blew it up a little bit on the timeline, right? And I think it was probably a little bit intentional. Maybe bring the price down a little bit. It worked if that was the case.
Yeah.
But I think it's okay. Like I just mentioned, they're not stupid people. You know, yes, he's had success and failures in the past. The failures have been like he did bet on some of these tech stocks, I think, in the .com bubble, but you had to get to a certain level of success to be able to invest that much anyways.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think he's gonna be okay. I think there's people already in his ear and he's been thinking about like how to get to a certain level of success with this at the same time mitigating a collapse.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting 16% APY on his Bitcoin right now. So, I mean, when you have 50, what does he have? $60 billion worth of Bitcoin right now, and he's getting 16% yield. I mean,
is he getting Bitcoin back for that, or is it coming in USDC?
Yeah.
It's almost like, damn, pay that out in USDC.
And,
and the reason why, well, what I'm saying is that like, because if there is a moment, which there's going to be, where he's going to need to buy the stock back a bit, you know what I mean? Because here's the situation, right? Here's the problem is like, let's say that this becomes a bigger deal. People are like, show us proof of reserves, and then like he loses faith in the MicroStrategy holders. Now they're selling off big time. Their stock is going down. Now the shareholders that have faith still haven't sold down are going to be like, hey, look, our stock is going down. It's been great all this entire time, but now it's like not working anymore. And then like the board's like, hey, Michael, like we got to figure this out. And then what he can buy up those, if he, you know what I mean, those stock shares, and kind of bring the price back up a little bit with the interest that they're earning, right? To kind of help with the price. But like if he's getting that in Bitcoin, then he's gonna have to sell that down. And I still don't think it would be a big deal to do that.
One little thing though.
What's up?
So each share is kind of priced in Bitcoin, right? So each share actually has a little bit of Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin's price goes up, those shares, I mean, people are going to buy them as a Bitcoin hold, a hedge. Well, hedge. I mean, you're buying cheap Bitcoin, technically.
Yeah,
right?
but
if Bitcoin goes to 700K, I mean, you're buying. I mean, like there are people already doing that, right? Because each share is technically a certain amount of Bitcoin.
Yeah,
right.
That's the problem that's been presented, though, is what I'm telling you. Is that they say if that demand loses so much to the point where it overcomes whatever percentage you're talking about, then that's where the scenario would have to be. You know, he has to make a decision here, or the board and him or whoever, right? But it's not like they haven't gone over this scenario multiple times and said, hey, okay, look, what happens when this happens? They're smart people up there, so we'll see what happens. Because like from surface level, of course it looks like scary, but it's looked scary last cycle when we were in the bear market about Sailor. People have tried to liquidate him multiple times. It hasn't worked.
And what happens? What happens the other way around? What happens if Bitcoin goes to 500K and he's sitting on 10x his money that he put in, right? So I mean, you can't liquidate somebody who's up 10x. It's not possible. Like, and if he's earning 16% of $600 billion, he can pay back those loans easy, right?
Yeah.
So, but to your point here, like Rock Toshi, someone who we think is really pretty smart, right? So he goes, it all ends like this: Bitcoin dips 40% from 500K to 300K. So this is a year away scenario, right? MSCR trades below net asset value. Sailor caves to shareholder pressure, starts selling Bitcoin to buy back MSCR, basically saying what you just said. God is mortal, markets panics. We crashed to 50K, winter's upon us. So he's saying 500 to 50K would be a 90% dump. Something we've never seen, I don't think, anyway. I think the last one was like a 64% dump from 69 to 16. I could be wrong on my percentages, but I don't think it was 90.
I'm actually going to tell you what it was.
Yeah, 69 to 19 was the dip from 2021 November.
Was it 19 or 16,000? It touched 16.
It's 16,000. No, it was 69,420 to 16,500, something like that.
Well, it's just kind of about 77% retracement.
77%. So he's calling for a 90% retracement, which we haven't seen pretty much since like the first cycle.
Yeah.
All right. Let's kind of jump into should we go next here? We'll save all this because I just want to make sure we have enough time for everything else. So let's jump right into the Bitcoin fear and greed here. All right. So last oh man. Last week was a 69. Yesterday was a 68. We were completely sideways from yesterday's 68. Where do you think we are, sir?
Completely sideways 68.
I mean, pretty much right there. Look at that, dude. I've never seen.
I'm getting
chart.
better at this very easy game.
But we're sitting here right now at 68. Pretty sideways. So not really much to say with that. I mean, we'll see what happens. But this is still bullish. The fact that Bitcoin's kind of like, doing its little thing here. And yesterday we're 68. We're probably gonna be in 64 tomorrow. I would guess.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit because we got still a lot of hours in the day. So that's the thing that's tricky about that fear and greed is that we do it at about 11:30 p.m. Eastern every day, but the score doesn't come in until I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, right? So if we start the day off crappy, we could end up bullish, vice versa. And so that's why I always look at my chart whenever you're trying to ask me. And I'm like, oh, okay. But then it's hard to do it quick.
All right. Let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, these guys are building something really amazing. They're building a leverage trading platform on Bitcoin L2. They're going to be on 2 L2s as of right now. The first one is Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Binance actually invested in the Hemi, which means when you're using Artura, potentially not only were you getting the airdrop of the ARA token, but potentially also getting the Hemi airdrop. This is a big deal. In my opinion, this is something that I will be grinding for. I want that Hemi token and I want the ARA token, and I don't want to pay for them. I want them for free. So that's just me. And then, a few weeks after that, they're going to launch on the Botonix testnet. And Botonix, they're saying they're not going to have a coin, which may change in the future. Don't know. But they are saying their mainnet will be incentivized. Incentivized how? I don't know, but I want to be incentivized. Right. So I'm going to be playing with Artura on Botonix as well. Really looking forward to Artura going live on mainnet very, very soon, probably within the next weeks, maybe month. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's crazy? I just thought about when you were talking about that, the airdrops and just kind of farming those and stuff, is that like 5 years to 10 years down the road, I don't think that's going to be a thing. No. So like, that's how early everybody is in the space right now, is that like, imagine 10 years down the road, like you got, we did airdrops and we got $10,000 for just work, like doing this thing. So pretty exciting stuff with that, guys. But before we get into the Bitcoin price action, if you would not mind helping us out, we greatly appreciate it. On the YouTube side, smash that like, and then also make sure you sub to our channel. If you haven't subbed, then what's wrong with you guys? Also, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, share the space. Let's get some people in here. Let's talk about Bitcoin, the ecosystem, educate them, as well as other parts of the crypto ecosystem, because we cover it all. And then on the abstract side, share that link for us as well. But let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. And this is a high level of Bitcoin price action, guys. I am not an expert at TA, but what we do is we try to, together figure out maybe where Bitcoin is heading towards, right? And it's been kind of one direction starting this morning, which has been down only. But I think we are on the shorter time frames, at least like the 5 minute, it looks like that's closing up. So I think we might have a quick bounce back up, maybe get back to 108 here in the next 30 minutes, but we'll see. On the hour, though, it is looking kind of grim right here. You can see we were almost out of the sell pressure, dude. And then I guess they were like, oh yeah, it's the Bitcoin conference. And then they're like, and they just dumped on everybody. But hey, look, it is day 2. I am in the camp of positivity. And I think that it is different this time because I think we have that DeFi summer, but Bitcoin DeFi summer this year. So maybe we have a different conference type of price action for Bitcoin. But let's check out the rest of today. You can see that we were in oversold territory in the stochastics for a while and decided to work our way up, but not get back to oversold, meaning that, or overbought. Meaning that like they just were turning this guy around. It looked like we were trying to have some sort of a build back up. It wasn't really great looking anyways. If you look here, this has been kind of a downtrend, right? On the hour chart, you can see that here. Boop, right there. Let's kind of copy and paste, move this guy over here. Yeah, so we kind of have this downtrend happening here, but how long does it last for, right? You can see like these trends are choppy, right? So you have one here, and these are hours, so these are almost like a, let's say they're like a half a day, right? 12 to 15 hour kind of trends. This one's a little bit longer, that went sideways. Now we're probably dealing with another 12 to 15 hour downtrend, but at some point it will turn back up. I do truly believe that. Okay, so second half of today, I can't be like really bullish about today with what I'm seeing here. But what I can say is previously, after we did have that first run up last week to, I want to say 111 or 110, we did kind of pull back during the week. We pumped up a little bit on Friday, and then we pulled back, and that local bottom has been 106.8. That's what I actually took a short at one point when we were at like 109. And it got to my target goal to exit was 106.5, and it got to 106.8 on Friday, and then I think it touched 106.8 maybe on a day over the weekend as well. So we haven't really seen it push through or break through that. So I'm gonna say that, you know, that's a pretty good level that we've been protecting. So I think we're kind of almost done with the sell down. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. Don't take that as financial advice, but that is what I'm thinking. So second half of today, maybe a little bit more choppy, scare people, and this to me is trying to scare people to get out of their longs too, and it is scary. Imagine that you were in a long at 108.5 and this is just dumping down on you. So yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, guys. So choppy with a little bit, maybe touch down into the high 106s and then back up. But hey, what do I know, right? Let's take a look here at some of this support and resistance as well. I'm going to bring the data back to more locally. So we're talking about 1 a.m. today. So at the price level we're at right now, 107.394. So we're starting to build up a little bit of support, but it is still dominated by the resistance. You can see 35 to 20 here at the 107.5 range, and then right below that there's a little bit more support. Goodness gracious, I might have to change my trajectory for the rest of today, but we do have that support really at that 107, 180 to 200 mark. So this is actually holding pretty decent here. And then we need to build some more support up in these areas. Really good support right there. We just jumped up to that 107.511 here. So if we can push this up, we got support in this range. So we'll see if that, brings it back up here. And then if we're taking a look at the 4-hour chart, no way, no. Same thing. It looks like it is kind of selling down still, but hey, look, that 1 hour could reverse it. I'm hoping that we didn't get much of buy pressure here on the 4-hour. I think we deserve a little bit more than that, right? You can see the sell down was really strong here, taking it back to Friday, and that was when we got to that 106 high area. So that makes sense, right? So I don't think we replicate this though. I don't, but again, maybe I'm wrong. But that's just me. I do think this year's different with the conference. So I'm gonna stay positive here, but you guys, kind of use this information and do what you will with it, right? So the week, sorry, that was a 4-hour. Let's go to the weekly here. Is this the weekly? Okay, yeah, weekly chart here. Do we get our first red weekly candle for Bitcoin in a long time? I mean, we kind of are due one, right? It's been green. Maybe we get a red candle, which to me is okay, even if we do end red here. Let's say that we end the week at like that 106 to 107 mark, 108 maybe. I think that would still keep us barely in the red, but it'd be okay because we probably need a little bit of a break in between all these, candles up. But the leading indicators still look fine. We have a 97 score on the stochastics, which is really strong still. You can see here the MACD looks like it's just starting. So even if we do end red, I think next week we have that continuation push, right? So I think we're still fine on the weekly for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the others chart. The others chart, oh man, I wish we were a little bit stronger because this could, make me feel like we are, possibly starting some sort of alt season. I know that a lot of people are saying alt season this year is going to be, or this cycle is going to look different. I think you still have to have your Ethereum pop get past that $3,000, $4,000 mark eventually. So it can set a new all-time high, but we shall see. Right now, the weekly chart for everything outside of the top 10 in Bitcoin, it's looking a little sluggish here. This was in the green. Now we're back in the red. We haven't made any ground in terms of heading back above the 50-day EMA. But like I said, it is early. Well, in the week, kind of. It's Wednesday, midweek, so we got a couple more days. Let's see how we end. I think we're still okay. I mean, the leading indicators are fine. I would like for this to push up a little bit harder, though, especially with Bitcoin kind of pulling back. You would like to see this to actually sustain where it was, or give us a little bit of green. That will give us some hope. But let's see, how it plays out the rest of the week. And then the bubbles here.
Where's Farcoin? Where's Farcoin?
Where is Farcoin, man, we got to start using Farcoin as like an indicator for the next day, because yesterday it was red yesterday. Is it green? I was looking in the red. Oh, this is the week though. Let's go to the daily.
Oh, okay. There it is. Ooh,
Where's
tomorrow's gonna be worse, bro.
God, no. And there it is on the week. So this is actually at first I said it was opposite of yesterday, but it's more than opposite. We're at like a 90% retracement, which I guess that explains the others chart, right? Because now it's kind of like, But hey, guys, it's okay. Let's see what the Bitcoin dominance looks like. This is okay. This is, with we're down on.
It definitely looks like a higher low.
Exactly. Right. So, and then now this was when we started the show. I think this was starting as a green candle. So the fact that we are pulling down here, some of these alts, this is looking okay. And this looks good. Right.
Yeah.
This looks good. Like you said, higher low. Let's keep getting these higher lows, and then we can trigger Ethereum and some of these other alts as well. But that is what I got, guys. I know it's a little long winded, but what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think it was perfect. I think they got to be like that, because there's a lot of information to go through, and a lot of people love charting. So, but trying to jump into what you guys are saying in the roll call here. Let's get it, guys. So on the show, first is first. If you don't know what that means the first comment of each day, it gets put on a Google sheet here, and I track it. And my guy Lackey Lukey, number 1, you have victory number 20 on the year, tying Webdro just behind Danny. Danny 23, Webdro 20, Lackey Lukey 20, and I think ASAP Benji 11. So Lackey Lukey, man, you are killing it. Second win of the week. Danny Boy won on Monday. You won on Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's see who finished the week. But this is strong, dude. Strong competition right now between Lackey Lukey, Danny, and Webdro.
Yeah, man. Those three have been kind of three-headed monster in terms of trying to outdo each other. But
yeah, man. Awesome competition. It's still got 7 months to go. So, as of June 1st, you'll have 7 months. So there's still a lot of time for anyone to win this, guys. If you want to be the first comment, you just got to beat Lackey Lukey to it. Yesterday, we posted it at like 3:54 in like 1 second. Lackey Lukey had it by like 3:54 in like 30 seconds. So shout out to Lackey Lukey, man. My guy, he said Bitcoin Vegas, DGen. Webdro says congrats, Lackey Lukey. Lackey Lukey again. Matt says congrats yet again, Lackey. And then Nighthawk says GM, bring the Reaper. 3 mods together in Vegas, unstoppable. Yeah, you guys are killing it out there, man. Malam Yuri is here. Justin is here. Shout out to Justin, man. Every single day now, Justin. Appreciate you, my friend. Vader time is here. Justin says USD on Bitcoin. Let's go. Chief Axel is here. A Abstract is here, followed by Chota, our guys. Chota Satoshi. KDN is here. Shout out to KDN. Ricky. Shout out to Ricky, man. I think it's your first time making roll call. Appreciate you. Drex. Dude, I know it's bullish when Drex is back, bro. Drex is back. It's like we're about to take off, man. My guy Drex is here. And then Kevin B. Williams, the leader of the Dog Army. And one of the leaders. My guy. Shout out to Kevin B. Williams. True legend in the chat every single day. We appreciate every single one of you guys, man. But let's jump back into the news and see what is going on. It's got so much in here. Want to make sure that we hit on everything big. So got that. Okay, we'll get on that tomorrow. Let's jump into this. So look on chain, says James Wynn Real, who has been the trader of the month. This guy, in 70 days, he took account from 0 to 87 million in profit, and only 5 days to lose almost 87 million in profit. So, and then James Wynn actually accused ZachXBT of being a part of a conspiracy targeting him, claiming Zach was involved in smear campaigns and using insider info to manipulate public perception. Zach denies any conspiracy, slams James Wynn for misleading claims, and accuses him of gambling with stolen funds tied to shady meme coin launches like Baby Pepe. What's your take on all this? James Wynn has been someone who came out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't know who the damn guy was
Yeah,
until
me
like
neither.
Sunday night, right? So
Is he related to like the Wynn Hotels
no, he's
guy?
just
Okay.
he was on Rand. He was on Rand's show. He's just he's a guy who made his funds trading. He's broke his whole life and decided to try this Bitcoin thing, and now he's okay with losing $87 million in 5 days. But it does feel like they were coming for him. Somebody was looking at his liquidation prices, and they were purposely pushing the price down to liquidate him. I think he was definitely targeted here, and that my opinion. That's why we're at 107.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information that I don't have access to, right? And so I can't really make a claim one way or the other.
Which is
But
just about what you know, right? Like this guy
yeah.
came out of nowhere.
Well,
$87
if he's a part of like the meme coin stolen funds stuff, like he just got what he
No,
deserved.
nothing stolen. It was pump. He was part of the pumpage and the dumpage of Baby Pepe.
Well, but it says him of gambling with stolen funds tied to.
Yeah, he's basically
with
coin launches though, like Baby Pepe.
But with stolen funds, that's the most important phrase there.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
like that's a big claim though, right? If you're gonna throw that at somebody, you better
though. That's not like,
So okay, so do you trust that? Like if it comes from him?
I don't think James stole it. I think he definitely was somebody who threw in 10 million, pumped it up, and then took out 30 million.
Okay.
I don't think it was stolen.
Okay, so you don't trust what ZachXBT is saying about that, or maybe you feel like he exaggerated it.
Like just read it though. It says accused him of gambling with stolen funds tied to shady meme coin launches. Like tied to shady meme coin launches.
So he stole the funds, then launched those.
He didn't steal them. He pumped them, and
I'm trying to figure out where the stolen funds part is. Like, what is that? What does it mean?
What does stolen funds mean? Part is a part of the conspiracy where James is kind of saying, where like, I pumped a token and I took profit. F you, I didn't steal shit. Like I think that's
so you're saying that ZachXBT didn't use the correct like phrase for it, possibly.
Well, ZachXBT thinks that pumping and dumping and stealing money.
Oh, so that's okay. So that's your kind of understanding of
that's just my perception of
what he is saying here, what he thinks. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So with that being said, look, if he's one of those guys that if it's stolen and it's not, you're wrong, then I think he deserved it. If he didn't steal it, he just I think he deserved it anyways because he's greedy. He should have got out.
If he stole it, he
should have got out. So what? So was that other guy that was from that did
I'm just saying,
the Argentina was it Libra? He's doxed and he don't care. He'll go on, like he's like, I want to interview right now with my face and everything. I stole your funds. So what? You know what I mean? So but anyways, I think regardless, like if you took an account from 0 to 87 million and you lose all of it, you deserve it. You got to like take some of that out. You know what I mean? Like send some of that to like your piggy bank.
He had $40 million with a 40x leverage on Hyperliquid.
Especially with how this market has been. Like that's crazy to me. That's anybody would do that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Jump to the next thing here. Our good friends over at Merlin Chain. Binance tweeted. They said Binance Futures will launch USD margins Merl USDT perp contract. This is absolutely huge because we do know that last week Binance launched Merlin on their alpha program, which basically means they're listed without being listed. They just kind of do everything for you on the back end on PancakeSwap. That you want to hold a token, you can hold it in there. They'll hold it for you. They'll custody your Merl for you, and they'll just buy it on Pancake. And now, as of today, now they're listed on their perp contract. And I'm speculating here, but if you get listed on the alpha and then you get listed on the perp, the futures, right? What's the next thing that normally happens? Not saying it's happening. Yeah, what normally happens.
Well, I don't know. This is obviously a good thing. But he actually was talking about that yesterday. He was saying that the goal is to get on perps platforms too, just get that continuous volume going up. I mean, if they can continue, like let's say they can continue 40% of what PancakeSwap produced at that high of I think 430 million in a 24-hour period, which is absolutely nuts. So if PancakeSwap can maintain 100 to 200 million, and then they're going to put the volume from this as well into that. I don't know if perps gets counted into it, but if it does, you know what I mean? Like it could be absolutely crazy, right? And then I think Kraken probably revisits the fact that they put Merlin on as a perps, and then this could be a crazy thing for Merlin right now. Because let's say you get Binance, Kraken, and then like we know some builders that are building there, and some of these concepts are amazing, but like there's this public perception that like, you know, it's just been this ghost town that's going to stay that way, but that's not what's been happening. It's just been people building behind the scenes. I'm not saying it's going to be like the most amazing ecosystem or anything like that. I'm just saying right now there's a bunch of momentum building. Even after we had Jeff leave the show yesterday, I said I expect like a headline almost every day now. Bam, next day this comes out, right? So I mean, I don't know. What can I say? You guys can just see the headlines and you kind of put 2 and 2 together, and you know, what do you think?
I think a listing by July on Binance, but we'll see. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. Oh, real quick too, just to kind of let the audience know, when we talked about Starknet, and I missed this one, but Xverse is adding Starknet to the wallet too, so that's big, right? Because now you can do the USDC and all that stuff. Did you talk about that?
Well, I mean, I don't understand.
So Xverse is adding like Starknet tokens, and you can do trading and stuff with your Xverse wallet. The Starknet, like the stuff that they've added with USDC.
You can add any rune. Doesn't matter. I don't.
Yeah, but I think it's in their standard though. The Starknet EVM side is being integrated, so like you can do like swapping and stuff like that. Is what I'm trying to say. I could be wrong.
Swap on Starknet using
yes. It says wrapped Bitcoin here. So we don't have to get.
Yeah, let's look into that.
Yeah,
let's look into that later, and we'll get into that because I didn't see that at all. But that's absolutely.
I missed it completely too.
Yeah. All right, so this is the last thing before we get into our guest today. Bitmain. So yesterday was miner day. We experienced miner day last year, which was phenomenal. But Bitmain just dropped a new S23 miner. It pulls 583 hashes, uses 5,510 watts, making it the most efficient rig out. Nearly 2x more power for the same energy as older models, shipping Q1 of 2026.
Wow,
massive, absolutely massive.
You know, just making these miners more efficient, right? And so that's really big there.
The cost though is triple. So it's like it's one of those things where this thing's going to save you in the long run, but maybe buying 3 of the other ones. So it
equals out, But
what normally happens?
Bitcoin go up though. Bitcoin go up. That's
Bitcoin
the
go up. I mean, what normally
up?
happens though, it's kind of like a PlayStation, right? You buy a PlayStation on day one. If you would have waited 3 months, you probably would have got it a lot cheaper, right? Yeah. So, but unless Bitcoin flies,
dude, this is gonna be like freaking. Especially they're discovering new energy sources and stuff. Like you can mine on the moon. China's been mining all this like this material. Anyways, so I feel like we're gonna go into.
Where did that come from?
Well, because it's gonna be cheaper for the energy, but like I feel like there's gonna be like this Apple iPhone moment possibly to where like, oh damn, like I just got the new miner and it's like better and all these things, but then like you're gonna have to pay more for the new advanced one that comes out in a year. Everybody's gonna want to be able to mine Bitcoin, so we'll see.
100%. Oh, we got our guy in here, bro. Google me, B. It's been a while. It's been a while, buddy. So did you guys go to Vegas? No, we are not in Vegas. We're hanging back this year.
Reporting the news.
Reporting the news for sure. All right. Let's kind of get into our guest here. So if you guys don't know Runemine or Rune Labs, right? The Mine Labs. They guys have been building for a long time. These were the first place to bridge. They actually had Billy was the first coin. Or was it Pups?
Pups.
Billy. Pups,
I think, Pups.
Yeah,
he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was.
And then, anyway, they were the first bridge to Solana and added liquidity over there as well. They're building something really awesome on Near. I'll let him talk about that. But the big thing, though, is they have a token, and they are going to be using the thing we talked about earlier, which is DotSwap's new system, new liquidity Nexus. And there will be adding liquidity to that. So that's awesome. There will be a Rune on Bitcoin as well, and potentially everywhere else. Really excited to talk to Jeff. So let's bring him up. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
GM guys, thank you very much for having me again. Always a pleasure to join and to be a part of this great space.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Could you correct us? What was the first Rune that was bridged to Solana?
So, funnily enough, the very first Rune, as we were launching and the the team that we got coming up at the beginning was actually the ticker is Elsa, which was Elsa the dog.
That's right.
That one,
Forgot about
that
that.
one launched just as kind of the early stages of Rune excitement came to an end. And it actually took us a little while to get another project that was interested. You know, it's very much been a process kind of getting a lot of the Runes community on board with the vision that we've seen ourselves. But then, yeah, you were right, Yagobi. It was Pups next. And then we did $1 billion cat, well, and then basically every single other Rune onto the Solana ecosystem. And yeah, you know, like bridge volumes picking back up like crazy at the moment, which I think is a good sign that people they're going out and they're exploring and they're seeing what they can do. You know, there's definitely excitement when people are like bridging large volumes between Solana and Bitcoin. So I think it's a really great show of some excitement coming back to our space at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'm curious what you're seeing though in the volume. Are you seeing more kind of leaving Bitcoin? Are you seeing some come back? What are you seeing? And maybe some of the coins that are bridging.
Yeah. So sorry guys, I'm having lagged out a little bit there. So yeah, we're seeing both ways, usually dependent on the assets. You know, recently we've been seeing a lot of dog going over to Solana. I think because there's been so much volatility and it's been moving around a lot, people are really looking to kind of take active trading opportunities over there. You know, Pups is always a very active one. I think when things get exciting, we tend to see it go to Solana. And then when things chill down a little bit, some of that liquidity comes back and it goes back into the Bitcoin space. But yeah, you know, we saw $1.3 million worth of volume last week, and that was up 70% from the week before, which was $745,000 worth of volume in a week. So yeah, you know, like not only is it picking up, but it's like accelerating at the moment. I think at the moment we're kind of on target to do about another 1 million, 1.2, 1.3 million this week if things carry on the way they've been going.
It's massive. Yeah, massive. How exciting is it for a builder in the Runes infrastructure and Bitcoin ecosystem to all of a sudden start to see all these dominoes start to fall, right? You have Kraken that came out publicly and said that they're going to be listing Dog, and they built out this infrastructure for their centralized exchange for Runes. And then you see, you know, like all of the builders that you're familiar with, you know, you have the Odins, you have, you know, the Funky Bits, you have the Arch Network, you have all this infrastructure that's set for Rune. So it's kind of like you guys laid your bet correctly here. But how exciting is it for you as a builder for something like this, looking towards the future of the Runes ecosystem?
Yeah, you know, I think it's super interesting. We're like seeing the development on the L1 is one of the most exciting things for us, because a lot of what we do is we work with teams and communities from outside the L1 and we connect those parts to the L1. And, you know, part of the reason for this is the general, what has especially been lack of user experience and user interface available on the L1. And therefore, there's kind of been this real opportunity to bring these other ecosystems together and connect the communities. But as the actual, as everything is falling into place on the L1, this just kind of magnifies everything. And all these users that before maybe would interact with the Runes and they would invest in Runes on Solana, but they didn't want to deal with Bitcoin because it's slow and it's complicated and all of these other things. As that L1 experience is now improving, we have this ability to actually really properly onboard these users and get them exploring and playing around with the more native DeFi that's happening there. And, you know, I truly think there's a place for both sides of what we're working on and what everyone else has been working on. And, you know, this kind of leads into obviously what you guys were chatting before. Like when we saw DotSwap doing decentralized self-custody AMM trading, and the timing just so happened for us that, you know, our token's been live on Solana for a while now, but the plan was always to bring it back to the Bitcoin L1. So we will be launching tomorrow live. It will go active on the bridge. So users will be able to bridge their mine token from Solana into mine on Bitcoin. And we will also be deploying a self-custodied LP with the DotSwap team in their new Nexus model. And yeah, you know, super excited to be a part of that. We have our fingers in all the different pies with Solana and Near and Ton and all of the ones we're working on, but there's no way we're going to miss out on actually being involved with that growth and that decentralization happening on L1 at the same time.
Yep. I love it. I love it. And you just mentioned
man.
a really great point about your relationships with like the Solana like infrastructure building there and then Near. And there's something that you guys have that's coming up that I'm really, really excited about called Runeshot. Could you kind of explain to the audience what Runeshot is and how it can make, you know, launching Bitcoin Rune memes easy for just anybody?
Yeah, of course. So, you know, Runeshot is at the surface level, it looks like kind of your pump.fun for Bitcoin. So we've partnered with a lot of the teams on there. We're integrating Satoshi Bridge for enabling some of the Bitcoin transactions between chains. We're partnered with Ria Finance for liquidity pools and some DeFi stuff that I'll go into in a minute. And just generally been working with a lot of the different teams and communities in the Near space to power this. And you know, it's going to take all of the advantages that Near gives us. It provides that base, I guess that engagement and excitement factor of bonding curve launches, allow people to come in, create runes, trade them against the bonding curves, but then also a kind of more advanced DeFi ecosystem built around this, which enables not only OG runes to be deposited within the platform and traded from day one. Mine will be the first OG rune. Funny to call it an OG rune because it's only just becoming a rune now, but the first native rune which hasn't been launched on the platform, that will be live and trading on day one. But like when it comes to the kind of the Runeshot launch product, it's a lot like what you've kind of seen before, except for we're able to remove a bunch of different steps from this. So when users come to create their account, it's like a 2-click process. There is prompts afterwards, you know, obviously to write down your seed phrase and secure it and everything like that. But when it actually comes to the creation of everything, it's a couple of clicks. You get your account in. On the background, we're creating them a full cross-chain Near account, which can hold BTC, Near, Solana tokens. All of these different tokens can actually be held within these accounts. And they can be controlled by the overriding Near smart contract, which controls those accounts. But they do actually have native L1 wallet addresses within these accounts. And then from there, we're utilizing tools such as meta transactions and function keys. And these basically allow us to pay all of the gas on the back end and allow us to remove wallet signing requirements whilst people are using it. So as a user, the experience will be come to the web-based platform for now until we have the Telegram one out. Click a couple of buttons, get your account, get a Bitcoin deposit address. You'll be able to deposit Bitcoin from either L1 directly from Near, and then in the near future, we're going to be adding Solana deposits and Tom deposits. And then once you do that Bitcoin deposit into that wallet, that's the last time you'll ever have to interact with wallets or think about addresses or anything like that. From there, you're able to create and launch runes. You're able to trade runes in the liquidity pools once they've either graduated or if they are an OG rune that has had liquidity brought into the Runeshot ecosystem. And the whole experience is just going to be super streamlined. And again, the only time you'll actually have to interact and sign a transaction is when you want to withdraw those funds back out of the platform, because that's when we need to obviously make sure security is there. So that's a couple of like the really cool little tweaks. The Near back end really enables us to provide this fast and slipstream kind of user experience. But on top of that, we also get to plug into the Near DeFi ecosystem on the back end as well. So, you know, Ria Finance they already have some of their yield farming tooling and other products, and they've got leverage trading coming out on their liquidity pools. This means that as soon as they turn that on, we're instantly going to be able to turn that on for the runes trading on Runeshot. So this means, assuming we'll probably have to set some requirements for minimum LP before we can actually enable this, but essentially we're going to be able to turn on leverage trading, different forms of yield farming, staking, and all of these different functionalities. It's super easy for us to kind of bring these into the Runeshot ecosystem. And at the same time, for users who are near native and that want to, already have their wallet set up, already have everything else, everything will be usable outside of the Runeshot ecosystem as well. So, we're really kind of catering to whether you're a Bitcoin native, whether you're a Solana native, or whether you're a near native, you can come, you can join in and experience Bitcoin assets. And there's kind of a different method that you can use yourself. And then on the back end, we will obviously be creating these runes once they graduate from the bonding curve, the ones that have been launched on Runeshot, and they will be deposited into our runes bridge and enable for either withdrawal if a user wants to withdraw, or then trading into the liquidity pools once the funds migrate. So that's kind of that's generally where it's at the moment, and we've got a couple of other really cool features coming in that we've been working on, but I think that gives a pretty good overview of it for now.
Yeah, for sure, man, 100%. I'm just curious, why Near over Solana? We've seen Odin kind of use ICP. We saw FunkyBit use Base. You guys are kind of using Near, but why Near over something like Solana? Is the tech really that good?
Yeah, I honestly, it's been a process for myself from kind of the point where we started this journey with the guys over at Near, and there's really a couple of things. The tech is really, really good, and it's it's something that they've not had a huge amount of, is kind of that excitement and that growth of the user base. But their developer base, they've got one of the highest active developer bases in the whole of crypto. I was seeing some statistics the other day that were showing the charts, and they've got like more active developers than like pretty much any other chain. The foundation and everyone, Proximity Labs, one of our biggest investors, they're super hands-on and active in the space. So not only are they building core tech for the chain with a focus on AI and cross-chain solutions, there isn't kind of much more important, but they're really hands-on with the team. So we get direct support from some of the top developers in the space, as well as all of the projects we're working with. It's a very inclusive work environment, and that's something that we've kind of found more as we've been going along this journey than what enticed us in. To begin with, it was the ability to really chain abstract and account abstract as much as possible away, because we're aware from our previous experience that there is an amount of difficulties to overcome getting Bitcoiners to interact with products utilizing other chains. I think we could quite happily say Odin went for the it's Bitcoin, it's just Bitcoin. We're like not really kind of talking about the other side. We're very proud of this, but at the same of our connections with Near and the abilities that it adds us. But at the same time, we want to remove the friction as much as possible so that it doesn't put off users who might be a little bit hesitant in the first place before they actually try everything out,
Yeah, 100%. And I love the launchpad model, right? It's way better than the way we used to do things, like for instance, like mining, like basically inscribing on Bitcoin or etching on Bitcoin, and the miners get all that fees. But instead, you're actually taking those fees and wrapping up in a liquidity pool, and that way you have constant liquidity for that token. I guess my question is like, so Odin, when a rune it hits the bonding curve over there, it becomes a rune. You guys are doing that, right? And then on that, what will the ticker look like? Will it look like it's very similar to how Odin does it, with like a serial number in the front?
Yes. So currently, basically, the problem you've got is it's very cheap to launch a token on other chains. But then if you were to be etching every single one of those runes, you'd be paying $20, $30, $40 every single time someone launched one. And we don't want to be charging people that, because we want to keep that high turnover and high low barrier of entry to come in. So yes, it will be a very similar system to what they've got there. Once the token hits the top of the bonding curve, that's when the Rune will automatically be etched and be enabled for withdrawals and deposits. And we do have a serial code system. I think ours is a little bit slicker, but yes, it's currently is kind of the best way to do that. For sure, it's going to be interesting once we start getting to kind of some shorter ticker names and how that's going to impact things moving forwards. I think also something that I maybe forgot to say before, but because of these meta transactions and the way NEAR works, we're able to charge users for creating their tokens or whatever in whatever token it is that we would like to charge them for. So, we're kind of keeping it as NBTC and it keeps it in this way, but there is also ways that you can do it with NEAR if you do happen to hold NEAR or other tokens, and we can start adding stablecoin payments on the platform and allow people to be trading from stablecoins. The idea is then to be expanding this out in a manner where we really bring on stablecoin deposits from other chains. So, we've really got our eyes on Tron, Ton as well, obviously, as we're kind of working on that. We can touch on that in a minute. But Tron, Solana, NEAR, and just kind of bringing in stablecoin utility from other chains and allowing users to use them, buying Bitcoin assets, functioning on NEAR,
That's man, it sounds like a lot of exciting stuff. The one thing that really stuck out to me was, and I think you guys would have a lot of success during a certain period of when I think it's coming, is the runes mania. Let's say we're in Q4, dogs at like $2, $3, $4 billion market cap. Everybody has runes everywhere. The leverage part that you talked about, people are going to feel FOMO. They're going to jump into that. So, is that something that you guys are still kind of playing with, or do you feel like that is a product that's coming for sure?
Yeah, so it's it's again, the beauty of kind of this real collaborative build is it is coming to Ria Finance, and therefore it is coming to these assets. The only question to us is, how do we best implement this? What restrictions do we put on? We probably don't want to, so I don't think we would put leverage on the bonding curve trades. They would have to be graduated runes, I can only assume. But then maybe if, on our front end, and I'm sure Ria will have some input on this as well, whether there's kind of like a minimum amount of liquidity to stop someone just pumping the token 20% and wiping everyone's leverage. So there may be some restrictions on that end, but other than that, yes, it's coming. That's really what we're building towards here. And we kind of see this in the same way we see runes and meme coins. Everyone talks about meme coins on Bitcoin, but what they really were was kind of the start of DeFi, because it was all we had, and it was how we had to get people interested and get people invested. So when you invest in Bitcoin meme coins, you're kind of investing in Bitcoin DeFi, even though you're gambling on degenerate meme coins. So it's very similar in this sense, like with the launches and everything else. We're kind of building out that functionality with the DeFi in mind. So the end goal is a much bigger, broader Bitcoin DeFi, fully integrated cross-chain ecosystem, but it works to start with this launch thingy that brings us users, brings us volume, brings us revenue, and also gets people excited about what we're building in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Right now, we see that there's other platforms like yours that haven't brought over the OG runes. You kind of mentioned mine. But are you guys going to thinking about bridging over, dog over to NEAR, $1 billion cat, pups over to NEAR as well?
Yeah, 100%. We've been already kind of reaching out and chatting to some of the communities. We've had some good responses already. I've been chatting to Leo and everyone else to get some things kind of in place. We also have some partners. We've worked with runes.com in the past on liquidity solutions, and we're also in conversations with the guys over at NEAR. One kind of starting point here, again, the beauty of the collaborative work is any users trading OG runes in the liquidity pools or supplying liquidity will actually be earning Ria Finance airdrop points from the get-go. So just by utilizing that, you're earning Ria points. And then there's, we've been discussing with the guys from Near and everyone else how we can kind of incentivize more liquidity and get more users to bring it over. So yeah, we're really, there's a lot of attention in the Near space on this, and there's a lot of projects looking to launch not too long after us, focused around kind of Bitcoin DeFi. So there's a lot of support going around basically, and we're just working on aligning everything and getting all the users and everyone to come all in one go.
Wow. That was all right. So now by playing in your system there, I'm going to be potentially airdrop farming as well. Absolutely amazing. Do you guys have any plans for any mine rewards as well? I know I'm kind of getting greedy here, but I'm just curious if that's in the cards potentially down the line as well.
Yeah, 100%. We have community allocated tokens, which we're still kind of working on. We've talked a lot in the past about trading competitions and different initiatives like this. The build out's been kind of super intense. We've got a couple of other technical bits that we're building out in the back end from our EVM runes bridge. We're currently working on this Telegram mini app that I think we can touch on in a minute. So the initiatives of actually getting any more mine airdrops after the initial ones that we ran pre TGE have been somewhat slow at this point. But yeah, 100%. We're constantly chatting to the partners and coming up with different plans around this. I think we'll see some incentivized liquidity pools first. I think that's probably the first step for us, will be potentially on there, maybe even with DotSwap with our Bitcoin one, to kind of bring up the liquidity levels a little bit. I know this is a point of contention for some of our users since we launched, but obviously getting the token out into 3 different ecosystems, we have to be a little bit careful of where we actually supply this liquidity and when. So we are working on bringing our liquidity levels up. Once we have all 3 ecosystems running and the bridge is activated, it will be a little bit easier for us to kind of deploy where it is most required at the time,
Great stuff, man. I'm excited to really play with the platform and really dive into it. I think there's going to be so many different components to it that not your typical Launchpad has. Especially the leverage part really gets me excited. And I know to kick off, it might just only be Dog, Billy, pups, but those are the ones I think a lot of people are going to initially want to kind of take longs and shorts with anyways, and then the other ones build up. They can come along when the time is right for them, right? So
especially that first one, right? That first one, first.
I mean, you can hear the DJ coming out of me. The first thing I ask is about leverage. I got to go see somebody. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited for you, Jeff. My last question for you is obviously we got a pretty big audience today, about 477 people listening in. Like, what's an expectation in terms of timelines? I hate to do this to builders, but you don't have to give an exact date or anything, but when is maybe a time they could expect to see Runeshot maybe in like a beta or even mainnet? Are we thinking maybe like 2 weeks out, a month out? What's your idea on this?
Yeah, sure. So what I can give you is the timelines that we're looking at. We never like to promise anything because anything can happen in the meantime, but it's very soon. So we are currently in audit. Probably something that I should have mentioned before is not only is the Runeshot platform currently being audited by one of the top near auditing firms who have audited all of the other top platforms, but also our partners who are integrated are double or triple audited already. So it means out of the gate, everything that we've built on our side is going to be audited once, and everything that we've integrated has, I believe, at least 2 or 3 audits on it. So we're very, very serious about security. We've always been very serious about security. Our bridge is obviously 3 times audited as well. So this is a super important part for us. So that audit is currently ongoing, and we're expecting to have the report back by the end of this week. Assuming that there is no major problems, then we're definitely eyeing up the end of next week for a launch here. But if we do get some more kind of major things come up in the audit that's going to take a little bit of time, then we may have to push it out a little bit further. But we're certainly eyeing up next week from here. Even before then, we will also there should be a partnership and the starting of our ton marketing campaign going out today, and there'll be a sign up mini app launch, potentially Friday or start of next week, where users can actually come in and get signed up to get kind of like early access to the mobile version of this that will be released not long after the web version. So there's that coming. We got the mine token launch tomorrow on L1. Then we've got the mini app kind of sign up referral quest stage launch, and then hopefully Runeshot launch by the end of next week. But we will see. No promises.
Yeah. So what is this mini app on Telegram? Sorry, I'm a little. Is it actually Runeshot just in Telegram?
So basically it will be two things. It will be a text-based trading bot, as all of the Solana degens will know very well, and then it will also be a fully functioning TON integrated mini app. It's the initial stages will be very similar to Runeshot. It will you'll be able to create a Near account from your Telegram handle, and then you'll be able to interact with Runeshot, trade in the LPs, create tokens, launch tokens. The beauty with this is not only are we obviously opening up our user base and everything else to the huge TON network and Telegram user base, but in addition, we're going to kind of use this as a platform for integrating more products into one place. So, one of the key next steps that we're going to look at once we have the full kind of Runeshot integration and near trading pools is we're going to add Solana liquidity pools to the mini app. So right now, we're not going to go compete with Jupiter and Radium to, try and build a front end for trading our assets there, but within the mini app we will integrate Solana liquidity pools for rooms, and then as things move forwards we will continue to kind of build out this mini app into a real kind of all-in-one place where users can come with a Telegram account, deposit some funds from whatever chain they like, trade or launch on Near, trade on Solana, trade on Bitcoin L1. We're also in conversations with a lot of our Runes partners on the L1 of like how we can kind of bring more integrations from that side into the mini application.
Yeah, man. This is phenomenal, Jeff. You and your team have been cooking, man, and it's really kind of showing now. As it must feel good to see your ideas finally come and actually be products, man. So definitely be proud of yourself. I'm really looking forward to Runeshot, and I can't wait to start messing with the bridges more and more. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, we also kind of
thank you. As you said, there's been a lot of hard work in the back. Go ahead. So, just lots of building in the background and having everything come to light right now. It's a real kind of feeling of relief. And one day soon I get to have a proper sleep schedule again.
soon, but you gotta finish the building this product because we want to test it out. But looking forward to being able to showcase it to the ecosystem community, and we'll be talking with you kind of behind the scenes to see if maybe we can coordinate something to really showcase it in the future once it's ready. So we appreciate your time, and I'd like to give you kind of some last words to the audience before we let you go.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Would love to cook on something with you guys. We've got some other partners and groups from different ecosystems looking to kind of get involved from day one. So we're very excited to see what happens on that end. And, we'd love to cook something with you guys, of course. Basically, there is an incredible amount going on right now behind the scenes. And I think a lot of it is actually coming to the forefront. And, we're seeing a much more attention than we have previously. We've been cooking on a lot of this for a long time. I'm currently in about 8 different marketing initiatives with other teams, and it's all starting to really kind of come to the forefront right now. So just if anyone's interested and want to learn more, go check us out on Twitter at MineLabs, MineLabs Runemine, or join the Discord or the Telegram. We're in there. I'm making an effort at the moment to be in there and chatting to the community, and we've had a lot of new users recently, so there's not only myself but other members of the team constantly in there, so feel free to come and send some messages. And if people are looking to get ready to launch Runes on day one, we've all seen how good some of the early Odin launches went, and I think there's there's not many opportunities where you can be the first 1 to 5 tokens launched on a platform. Like I think there is some real lopsided advantage to being one of these assets. So, if you're interested in this, come jump in the Discord, come get chatting to some of our community. We will be releasing some form of demo before it starts, so that users can come in and they can kind of get used to it, or at least see what the experience is going to be like, so that they're not scrambling on the day to kind of work everything out. So keep your eyes out for that. We'll make sure we drop that before we go.
Yeah, man. It's at MindLabs_, guys. Go check them out on X and Discord and everywhere else. But Jeff, thank you so much for your time, buddy.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure as always.
All right. We'll see you later. Thanks. Bye.
Safe.
Absolutely awesome, man. Runeshot sounds like a winner. It sounds like it's gonna compete. It's gonna compete for the launch pads in the Rune system, and I can't wait for it to go live. I mean, everything sounds good, but the Near's back end. I mean, we've heard stuff about Near for a long time. Never really partake. Right, but that's going to change with Runeshot. So
I did mess around over there actually a little
you?
bit. Yeah, at the end of 2022, and interesting, fast. That's what you expect with these new kind of flash, protocols. That's like that's their edge is speed, right? And security, of course. But yeah, I mean, look, whenever the opportunity is getting in early with these launch pads, and then a couple of things have to happen. Number one, they got to get support from the ecosystem that is helping them scale Bitcoin runes, right? And I think he has that with Near. He has a really good relationship with those infrastructure builders over there. I mean, it's the Rear. It sounds so much like Near, but Rear is the financial kind of like liquidity thing that they're going to be helping them, like the DEX, I guess, and stuff that could have the leverage. So that they have that. And the second thing is obviously having a West and East kind of go to market campaign plan, and I think he's also kind of getting that solidified as well. So that was one of the things I think FunkyBit missed on, right? They were a little bit too eager beaver with that, and like try to get ahead because they saw success with Odin. But I think that FunkyBit, that's fine if they get that Arch support once Arch launches. But Jeff has a very good opportunity, I think, to have somewhat of a similar, if not better, success than Odin if everything's hashed out correctly. But we'll see. You can't tell the future exactly, but.
And the thing is, too, probably the entire Near community is probably going to be using this, right?
We saw the ICP community, what they were like, right? They're
exactly,
like,
that was the problem with FunkyBit as well, is that they try to use base, and base communities is like, hey, we stake, like we like to stake on,
or they have Moonshot. I think they have
virtuals, right? So it's like to them, it wasn't. ICP and Nears is different, right? Because there's not a lot. Their entire community is going to get on board this.
Yeah,
and you saw what happened with Odin. I want the first token is all I want to say.
I want the first token. I want the top 3 because I'm greedy. No, I'm just kidding. But the biggest thing too is that I do think some of those bigger ecosystems will FOMO later. Once okay, runes is a thing, and this is actually kind of turning out very kind of like what we talked about. Every ecosystem is gonna say, hey, we're here to service your runes or Bitcoin Layer 1 assets. It all roads lead back to Bitcoin, right? It's kind of like, why is your chain's token standard better than a token that lives on Bitcoin? Maybe it's not, right? So maybe you launch there and you just provide this, the scalability for it. And then, but yeah, so excited for Jeff, and excited to hopefully, guys, we can bring, the platform to you guys so you guys can get familiarized with it and stuff like that. That's something we're trying to work on. And our guy Shizzy over here, I was pointing the wrong direction. There we go.
You got it smeared, bro. It's smeared.
There. Anyways, he loves the airdrops. So you saw his eyes get all big with dollar signs once he heard that you can double dip there with the Rear protocol. So weird saying that because it sounds like Near, but I think that could be a big thing too.
Yeah, man, 100%. I'm gonna jump into the Sats terminal thing. I think we can knock that out. Now, if you're cool with it. All right, cool. So we'll just jump over there. So every Wednesday at 12:30, we usually have our good friends from Sats Terminal join. Those guys are out grinding right now in Las Vegas, pushing it. And what Sats Terminal is an aggregator swap. So think 1inch, right? Think all these other ones. It is absolutely, one of my favorite places to trade because I know I'm getting the best price, whether that price is on Uniswap, or Unisat, if that price is on, anywhere else, Magic Eden, DotSwap, Runes Dex, right? I know I'm getting the number one price. I'm getting the cheapest price out there. So that's why I like Rune's terminal. It's really simple to use too. That's why I like Rune's terminal. It's really simple to use too. Let me grab my screen big here. All you guys got to do is launch app. You want to go into here. Really simple. It looks like any other DEX you've ever used in your entire life, right? Yeah, absolutely simple. I love that these guys kept simple. And I love this too. Have you seen this yet? Trending.
Oh
The trending
no,
tokens are up here now.
yeah, that's
So
cool.
absolutely phenomenal there. And then you have Bitcoin here, and what you have to do here is kind of just click your token. This is the confusing part for me. I'm gonna let them guys know as well, because I was down here like, why can't I pick something? But it's right here. You have to select your Rune first, right? Let's just say you want the new Rune. Maybe you want USDC, right? USDC and Starknet.
I don't think. Yeah, I'm not sure
It's
if
there.
it's theirs. Okay, you tested.
Oh, maybe I gotta hit Starknet.
Yeah, just go to Starknet.
I saw it here. It is here. It's definitely here.
There it is. There it is in the middle.
Where?
We're up there.
There it is.
There it is.
Yep. There it is right there. So if you want, let's just say USD Starknet, you want to, let's just say you're bearish on Bitcoin right now. You guys can do it right here. Get the USD Starknet. And if you're not sure if this is the right one, just take it to Luminex. You can see it's the right. It's
Oh
it's
no.
The right one. But
press one full Bitcoin. Press one full Bitcoin. It's at 83,800. It's going up, but it's at 83,800.
I mean, it depends on how much liquidity is there.
No,
right?
not 11. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Malfunction. It will come back up. It'll come. Like, that's the thing, is that they do need to get that fixed in terms of. Oh, it says 109,000 up there though. Oh no, never mind. Okay, at the bottom.
Yeah, that's the Bitcoin price right now. So, well, that's what they're reading. But yeah, it's not right yet. But I think if you get small ones, right? Let's just say 0.001, which is what, $109. You're getting 106. So smaller liquidity, you're in.
Way smaller,
right?
Yeah.
But it needs to. Today's day one, right? In the liquidity.
Oh
so
yeah,
no.
So let's give them. I would say, I think a week is fair. Like a week. God, you gotta get that to like match. You know what I mean? And we're talking about Starknet, mind you. This has nothing to do with SATS Terminal. SATS Terminal's platform is working perfectly as designed. Starknet,
and that's the best part. There is no liquidity on this, right? So that they're aggregating it for you. So Starknet just needs to bridge some Bitcoin over.
Yeah, I mean, because like it looks so cool to see USDC, you know, and you're like, okay, like DeFi is officially started when you have the branded Circle USDC, but maybe USDT can do some, to market first or be stronger right now. We'll see.
And you'll go to your rewards. See, I am ranked 71st because I'm a beast and I airdrop hunt. No, I'm just kidding. But I've completed most of the tasks. Most of the tasks are really easy. And we found out last week that this is going away. The welcome bonus, 1,000 points. So highly recommend you guys.
I think it gets cut down, doesn't it?
It goes to 0 for the welcome bonus.
No,
I think. No, it goes to 100.
Okay.
I don't know, but you got to hurry. I would get over here, open a wallet. Oh yeah, just open a wallet, and you can just go away. It would take you 2 seconds. But I highly recommend you guys at least get that 1,000. That is an early adapter bonus, and then award 1 point for every 1,000 sats you trade. So just trading alone here gets you the points. Even if like you're gonna trade on DotSwap or Magic Eden anyway, it might be smarter to do it here. So at least you get those amber points. I'm not saying it's an airdrop. I'm just saying it reminds me of the diamonds from Magic Eden. So that's all I can say. I mean, you know what happens when you had diamonds, right? So
yeah. And DotSwap, I'm not picking a winner here or anything like that, but with DotSwap's new Nexus A&M, let's say that theoretically they become like the Uniswap. I feel like SATS Terminal definitely is forming into like this 1 inch, but maybe even more stronger kind of and so the amber points would be very lucrative in my opinion at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think it's going to last forever either. I think potentially down the line, it's going to be very, very. You're gonna want some points, as all I kind of say.
But we got
to easily.
Yeah, we got a comment from Malam Yuri. It says, "How do I find the amber points on mobile? Made a few trades, so it should be there, right, on the mobile side too." Let me check.
So, yeah, I mean, I think so. But what you can do is you can just log in with your wallet I mean, your seed phrase on desktop, and you can definitely see it there. But I'm sure you can see it eventually. We'll let them know if you can't.
Yeah. For sure. You have, if you've connected your wallet, you have 1,000 Amber points at least.
Yeah, for sure.
You just gotta.
First trade, another 1,000. Just make one trade, $10. That's what I did in my first trade anyway. So I immediately got 2,000. I linked my Discord. I referred my friend Shizzy. He's a great guy. I referred him.
Shizzy. Like, not me. Like 4 E's.
I mean, I have multiple wallets, right? So why not refer myself?
I guess that's a hack.
So, it's not a hack.
I mean, like a trick. That's good.
Hey,
Farm,
you're gonna put it there. I'm taking it. If you're gonna give me free food, I'm taking it every time.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
Exactly. And you guys can see the leaderboard. Some of these guys are grinding. So some of them, all they did, I was looking. One guy made one trade, and it was like $30,000 with a dog. He made one trade. That's all he did.
He's number 5.
He's up there. I can't remember which wallet he is, but he's up there for sure. But yeah, so if you're making like a $5,000 trade, like if you're gonna buy it anyway, and that's what I was telling Slow. Slow is like, I can buy it on Magic Eden. I was like, I know, but do it on Sats Terminal because you get the Amber. And he was like, oh.
And it's the same thing.
It's the same thing
because they aggregate from them, and they have a good partnership with them and stuff like that.
And I told him, I was like, yo, if it's cheaper on DotSwap, you don't know. Right. So you might actually be better to buy on. So he bought Crypto Slow bought like a crap load of dog the other day after seeing my tweet. He messaged me. He's like, yo, you convinced me I'm buying dog. And I was like, yo, do it on Sats Terminal, man, because you're gonna want the Amber. It's because you're gonna get the cheapest price anyway. And he was like, awesome. So he's actually up in here now. I don't know where he is, but his wallet is one of these guys in here. So, but definitely check out app.satsterminal.com. Complete the stuff here. Sign up wallets. Get multiple wallets, guys. Let's just do it, and then do everything you guys do. Get up in the ranks, and yeah, definitely check out everything they're building. Also. Just so you guys know, they do have the word bridge here and the word stake here. They're not acceptable yet, but it makes me think that something is coming. So
yeah, put 2 and 2 together, guys, equals 5. Just kidding.
Whoa.
But anyways, yeah. So we are actually. So if you guys are into, wanting to get the insides and the insights, I should say, from the Bitcoin conference, we're actually working with Arch Network. We're going to be doing a live stream that's going to last, I think, 5 hours coming up. In a bit, right?
No, I mean that's in an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting them know.
5 hour stream.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
you.
5 hour stream. So you're gonna see some really familiar faces if you've been part of our audience for a long time. I think Charlie Spears is gonna be there. Matt, the founder of Arch, Serge. I think our guy Serge. Yeah. I think he's gonna be there. Some other people. So you're gonna get some really good insights in what's coming. So make sure that you check that out. In about an hour and a half, we're gonna be live streaming from our channel, so you can catch it then. But is that the show? Does that wrap it up?
That's it, man. 527 people in here right now. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Not to mention everyone on Twitch, everyone on Abstract, everyone on Rumble and Spotify later. We love you guys.
Absolutely, man. And if you could check out our partners, that would help us out a ton, and we appreciate you guys. You always help us out. Sats Terminal, we just went over them, so I'll hit on them quick. They are a DEX aggregator for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem, focused on runes, but also added support for alkanes. We didn't talk about alkanes much today, but they are like an ecosystem in the Bitcoin ecosystem that's heating up. If you head over to satsterminal.com, you can connect your wallet, get 1,000 Amber points right away. You can get a referral link as well. Refer people, you get 500 of the additional for every person that connects their wallet as well. But follow their X, make sure you're keeping up with their updates, because these guys are crushing it. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. We think these guys are going to be big, but they are building a predictions market that's going to be centered around creators, right? It's going to be able to centered around the end user. So what I mean by that is that in the future, you're going to be able to create your own markets, earn 1.5% of the total volume, goes back to you as the creator. And then referral links as well. You can earn 1% of whatever the volume of the people you refer as well. So it's a predictions market. You can actually take kind of bets in their blitz markets, which is 5 minutes or 10 minutes. They're going to also have 5 minutes, but you get to select if Bitcoin's going to go up or down. Bitcoin, Solana, or BNB you can choose from. You get a 10-minute window to choose if it's going to go up or down, and then 10 minutes to see if you were incorrect or correct. And then all types of other predictions markets on here as well, guys. So stay tuned. Get familiar with the platform. You can earn points here as well. They're going to have a XP kind of dashboard, and we'll get into that once they release it. But head over to betbtc.win. You can learn more about what these guys are cooking. And then Emblem Vault is your interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Merlin Chain, Base, eventually Solana, Abstract, those popular chains. Why would you do that? Because the ecosystems like Abstract focus on NFTs, right? And they want ordinals. Lucanet said himself, he's bullish on ordinals. So that's a good thing for us. And then also they have their AI agent Hustle as well. That's going to be able to help you kind of do that once they integrate the Bitcoin tech stack. But for now, Hustle can help you trade on Solana. You can just use them as a research tool. He's free right now, but there is a business model that is integrated with him to where you're going to have to own a certain amount of Tensor tokens to get access or something like that. So we'll update you once that those docs are out. And then they have their Rune that's coming out in September for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You can actually participate in that as a pre-sale right now if you head over to OpenSea and search Emblem Founder Vault. They are a pre-sale, so once you get to the TGE, they'll give you instructions on how to get those runes in your Bitcoin wallet. Exciting stuff. Head over to emblem.vision. You can dive into their docs, learn all about this team. They've been around. They're OGs. They were building in Bitcoin in 2015 and 16. So they have been around for a while. And then Artura.finance. They're excited because their mainnet launch is right around the corner. They're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2, which is backed by Binance Labs, as well as Botonix Bitcoin Layer 2. I think Botonix can probably have some sort of co-marketing campaign, so maybe you can kind of earn by getting points that way. We're going to get more information on that, but Hemi eventually have something like that as well. But more than anything, we talked about leverage earlier. Artura is going to allow you to leverage Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cat, Pops, popular runes. So people are going to feel FOMO. They'll probably head over there, but you can also do more of the safer stuff like Ethereum, Tau, Bitcoin, of course. And then let's say you don't want to be a part of, leverage trading at all. You can just add to their liquidity vaults and earn passively there. But head over to Artura.finance, dive into their docs, go into the app. If you have any questions, head over to their Discord. They will answer them happily for you guys. And then Fluid Tokens. These guys, our guy Raul is in Vegas. He's at every event. He's at every educational camp. All those things. He's like constantly learning, churning out new applications. But they started in Cardano and moved over to Bitcoin as well. And they have built all types of tools, staking vaults. If you did claim your Doggo to the Moon or stake your Doggo to the Moon, go claim it, because you can take it out right now. It's available for you to unstake right now. You get your rewards plus your initial staked amount there. But they've also built an airdrop tool to where if you are a founder, you need to airdrop runes. Very simple to use, cost efficient, fast, all that great stuff, right? So this team, just keep your eye open for them. On the Cardano side, they just released the Aquarium. Eventually, you're going to be able to do Bitcoin stuff as well using your Bitcoin wallet over there. Man, just check them out at fluidtokens.com. There's so much to learn, and stay tuned to our Friday episodes, because we always go in depth into their ecosystem of products, right? So they have a lot of stuff there, but check them out. Make sure you're following them on Twitter as well. And then Tokyo Wallet, the smart multi-chain wallet that's built for the best UI experience. They started on Cardano as well. On Bitcoin now, you can actually swap for runes directly on the app. If you have an iPhone, go to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, go to the Google Play Store. Download the app. You can swap for Doggo to the Moon, all those type of tokens. They partnered with Sats Terminal to handle that swapping part in the back end for you guys. But it's all about ease of use, right? So if there's anything that you don't like about the wallet, let us know. If any features you want, let us know. Head over to Tokyo.io, dive into their website, and then you can download the application from those two locations I mentioned earlier. And then Merlin chain, guys, this is in my opinion, the pioneering Bitcoin layer 2, because they were the first to launch in 2024 with the account abstraction, right? Using particle network. So they were the ones that you could use your Bitcoin wallet first. But they've been doing huge things lately with their partnerships with Binance Alpha. Now they're on Binance Perps. They're on Kraken Perps, working on with something with Sui. If you want to stake and help secure the chain, you can do so. Go to merlinchain.io. Click the staking link there. You can earn 15% of the total Merl that you add to the staking there. And if you say, hey, I want to earn more, you can actually start doing that next week. This is an adult decision, though, because it's going to be locked up for 6 months. So you can earn 45% APR. People that are bullish might want to do this. People that aren't might want to do this. Who knows? You got to make that decision on yourself. But if you don't want to do the 6-month duration, you can just do it. And then you only have to wait 7 days to unlock it, and then you get your Merlin back, but you can earn 15% that way. By the way, also on the 45% APR, you can actually withdraw your earnings every day as well. So really cool stuff. We have Jeff on every Monday, so make sure you tune in next Monday for another episode of Merlin Mondays there. Head over to merlinchain.io to dive in and learn about them. They also have their AI Wizard 0.03, which can kind of guide you through their ecosystem there. And then lastly, our integrated partners in Jungle, which was formerly Foxy AI. We do want to apologize for Tuesday's live stream. I know Glasshopper, you were probably disappointed. We talked to those guys and we worked, we came to an agreement. We just want to make sure that everything is, all updates are completed, all that stuff before we announce the next live stream with that. But once we get it going, it's going to be consistent. Don't worry.
It's going to be a few weeks.
Yeah. So let's just kind of let them get all their updates correct and smoothing out. But they are building a good gaming ecosystem for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They have Bitcoin Derby as well, and they have their Bitverse as well. So if you had a miner, that there's going to be updates with that you can use in your Bitverse and stuff. So and then Ordinal Hive is your aggregator Ordinal marketplace. We were in a meeting with Fonzie, the CEO and founder of Ordinal Hive. So big things are coming with this project. They aggregate ordinals like Sats Terminal does, but for ordinals, right? So they're going to find you the cheapest ordinals around. And they also have some really great trading tools. Once that platform is full blown live, we're going to start demoing things for you guys and be on it a lot more. But check those guys out. And thank you all, 537 of you guys, for checking us out.
Yep. Great job, man. And, a couple of you guys, man, commenting in here. Malam Yur says, how do you find Amber? We read that already. Malam Yur says, great show. Really appreciate you guys. And then I know my Amber points are safe. Ordinal Sweets says, thank you guys. You're number one. Thank you, Ordinal Sweets. You're much appreciated for sure. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io, some of the best articles, brand new article just launched yesterday, Bitcoin and Ethereum go corporate. Definitely want to check this one out, guys. I feel like these articles really, really catch you up to where we are today. If you're somebody who don't have a lot of time, you're working 60, 70 hours a week, but you want to keep up in crypto because you want to obtain financial freedom like we all do, these articles can really help you really get caught up to where we are today. Don't miss a beat. Read our articles. If you guys need a VPN, we have the #1 VPN. That's Nord. I have 2 accounts with Nord because each Nord account gets you 5 devices. I have over 10 devices in my house. I want to make sure each device has their VPN on. And because I don't want to go to these sites and then you're giving your IP address away, which could lead to your home address. You don't want that. I don't want that. It's not good. You can actually put someone's IP address in ChatGPT and it'll actually give you their home address. It's scary. But to avoid that, just use a blocked IP. It'll scramble your IP for a different one. And so no one's seeing exactly where you live. As a Bitcoiner, it's not safe, guys. Get a VPN. And then if you are in Vegas and you need tickets and you're like, damn, I want to go to the conference today. The vice president speaking, get tickets to us. And if you pay with Bitcoin, it's actually really cheap. It's like 25% off now because they want your Bitcoin. So what I would do is buy Bitcoin on Cash App and then send it if you're going to pay with cash anyway. So definitely do that if you're interested. And then if you guys need merch for that event or any event, really not that event, but for the next event, or just kind of lounge around at home, check out all of our stuff here, shirts, hats, jackets, and so much more, guys. And you can find everything at OnChainRevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution, roll call. quick recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.